All right, welcome back once again to Joe the Shirts Off the Cuff. And that was the band Zanza and their song Snakes and Mouse, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me because she's referring to herself. If I was a snake, and she's using a plural form here on the title, snakes and, I don't know, maybe snakes and mice or snake and mouse would make sense, but who knows? Who knows? All right, Joe the Shirt is off the cuff. Welcome back once again. Sorry I had to take a little time off from you guys last couple of days. The reason for this is because I had tests to take, I had studying to do, it was my turn to clean the house, and just in this place is pretty big, so it's like 2.5 hours just to do the fucking floors, sweeping, the mopping, the drying, then vacuuming the carpet. It's a bitch. It's a complete bitch. All right. Now, the title of today's show is Common Courtesy and Jay Leno. Jay Leno we'll get into a little bit later. Right now I want to talk a little bit about common courtesy. And also just being a polite human being in general. You know what I mean? It just seems as if we take things for granted on a day-to-day basis. I mean, to the point where, don't you ever feel shocked at how comfortable people are talking to you and saying things to you, and you don't know them in any way, shape, or form other than you just met, but they feel comfortable enough with you to talk to you about things that is really none of their fucking business. I bring this up because I do most of the grocery shopping around the house, and any type of shopping, actually. I like to get done usually earlier in the day. I like to get it done in the a.m., preferably if I can before 10 a.m., because especially on the weekends, like today, being Saturday, what is today? It's 23rd? Oh my God. Today being March 23rd. On Saturdays, the markets around here get crowded pretty quickly. Market I'm talking about today is Trader Joe's. Now, mind you, earlier in the week, I took care of the food grocery portion of the shopping. And last night, my girlfriend M came home, and we made dinner here at home, but we went out to Barney's, had a couple of drinks there, just hanging out, and then we came home, and we had dinner, and we hung out a little bit, watched a little TV, futzed around on the computer, and then we went to bed pretty early, actually, for Friday. We were in bed by like 11:15. And I wake up today and realized there is no booze in the house, which is, as you all know, not good. Actually, no, it is good for you. I mean, it's nice to know that I was able to run out of alcohol and not even notice it. I think that's a step in the right direction. No, it's not. That's preachy bullshit. But I realized, this morning when I got up, I was like, wow, there's like nothing in the house. There's a bottle of triple sec and there's a bottle of wine, but I'm not a wine guy. And if you start drinking triple sec first thing in the morning, you might have a problem. I'm just saying. But when it comes to getting alcohol, it's like I have no issues with getting it first thing in the morning. Some people might feel a little embarrassed, a little bit of shame. You go into a place like Trader Joe's and, all you're doing is buying booze. I don't have that issue, just to let you know. I gave up on shame and embarrassment pretty much a long time ago. Anybody that knows me knows that I really have no shame whatsoever. And I'm not embarrassed at the idea of, it's okay, it's 10 after 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm at Trader Joe's, I'm buying some booze. The intention is not to drink as soon as I get home, but, that's my business. I mean, if it's a Saturday, 9 o'clock in the morning, or well, it is not, it's 11:30 in the morning now, it's like if I feel like getting drunk early on the day on a Saturday, that's my fucking business. And which brings me to my point of common courtesy, politeness, rudeness, all that good stuff. I went to Trader Joe's and I picked up a bottle of tequila, because that's what I like. Picked up a bottle of vodka, because that's what M likes. I picked up a 12-pack of beer and an Orangina. Call me crazy, but I really love Orangina. Anyway, So, I get this stuff, and like I said, I'd done my food shopping already. Food shopping was done a couple of days ago. So, no issues there. I'm getting provisions for the weekend, okay? And I get to the front there, and I'm like, hey there, how you doing? Lady behind the counter is like, oh, hi, how you doing? I'm all right. And she's like, oh, I guess you're pretty much set for the day, aren't you? And I'm like, that seems a little familiar, doesn't it? I mean, maybe I'm not the type of person that gets embarrassed by buying liquor first thing in the morning, but she doesn't know that. For all she knows, I'm like some weird closeted alcoholic and I need to get my fix before the DT McShaky hands set in, But that wasn't the case. I was just happened to be buying the booze at that time of day. I'm not one of those. I don't need to wait till noon to go shopping for booze or to even have a drink if I feel like it. I don't feel the need to wait. Oh, I'll pick something up on the way home after work. That makes it all better, I'm sure. But like I said, this chick doesn't know me from Adam, and she's making a commentary on my purchases, and I'm like, okay. So I just tell her, well, food I got, and I tell her, it's like, well, no, I'm not. It's not like I'm gonna drink this now. I'm just buying it because I realized there's nothing in the house. To which she says, well, how about buying some food? I'm like thinking to myself, you fucking bitch, how dare you tell me what I should be purchasing? The fact that I'm buying enough liquor to kill an elephant doesn't mean shit to you, and it certainly doesn't mean that you should say shit about it to me. She actually says this to me. She says, oh, how about buying some food? And to which I tell her, I don't even know why I'm about to explain myself to this fucking bitch. It's like, oh, I already did the food shopping earlier this week. I spent like $200 this week just on food, for the house. And she was like, oh, yeah, okay. She's like, give me this sideways look like, yeah, you're just full of shit. You're just going to go home and drink this into oblivion. And I'm thinking to myself, bitch, I drove here. So anyway, and this familiarity, this air familiarity that she takes on with me continues because then, she rings my stuff through and it's like comes up to whatever amount and I run my card, and if for whatever reason it's taking really, really slow time, so she has to rerun it. And she goes, okay, you're going to have to rerun it again, baby. You're going to have to rerun it again, baby. All right? And I'm like, really? You just call me baby? I'm like, okay. I mean, I would love, I would love to see, I would love it if that was a man and I were a woman and some dude just saying, hey, what do you say, baby? And I'm like, women would have a fucking flying titty attack on that one. But no, a woman feels it's okay to just refer to me as baby. I'm not baby. I'm your customer, all right? Again, I don't really care that much, but it got me thinking about this level of comfort and familiarity that this fucking bitch has with me. And so I run it again, and she packs up all my stuff, gives me the bag, and then she goes, "You have a nice day, baby." I was like, again with the baby? It just seemed a little out of place. You know what I mean? It's like you don't go around just referring to some random human being, some stranger as baby. Give you another example of people being just a little too dang comfortable with themselves and topics of conversation. With you guys, it's fine. It's my show. You tune in to hear me say and do very, very inappropriate things, that are mostly off the cuff on my part. This is Joe the Shirt's off the cuff on the Inappropriate Conversation Facebook page. That's what we're doing here. So you guys expect this. My girlfriend M, she was at a seminar Wednesday night, and they were using those big what do you call those big one of those big tables, big round tables. I forget what they're called now, but it seats like up to eight or 10 people. And she was at one of these tables, and there was like a bunch of people at her table that she did not know. There was directors and actors and accountants and musicians, music moguls, that kind of thing. She was there for work, attending this seminar. And my girlfriend is in her 40s now, much like myself. And there's a woman sitting next to her, an actress, whose name I do have, actually. Hold on. Excuse the noise. Be right back. Hold on there. Actually, I do have this woman's name. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back here. This woman, Andrea Anderson, is her name. She's an actress. You may have seen her in a couple things here and there. She starts talking to my girlfriend, and out of nowhere, this person, Andrea Anderson, looks at my girlfriend and says, "So tell me, does the menopause give you emotional outbursts and mood swings?" And I was like, how the fuck did she get to that? Could you imagine you're a woman, you're a middle-aged woman, you're in your 40s, whatever, and some complete stranger just starts talking to you and just out of nowhere ask, does menopause give you mood swings and make you prone to emotional outbursts? And I was like, who the fuck does she think she is? And that's what I'm talking about. It's like, how do you feel comfortable just coming out with this kind of shit, you know? On what planet is this okay? I was like, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. Do you find that your vaginal dryness is a problem when having sex? What you tell me? I don't know. In any case, we are going to take a little break right now. Earlier on, we heard Snakes and Mouse by Zanza. Now we're going to hear Alive and Well by Trenchtown. Stay tuned. I'm Joe the Shirt, and I'm off the cuff.
Janie ran away from home again today. A mascara smear from crying those tears of pain. 17 years old, she's done things that nobody knows. Jane's just trying to keep them sweat on the road. And every day, Jane can fight in me, she'll say, let's be not tell nobody, isn't it all the shine? Tonight we're getting out of here, tonight it's our turn to fly. We're gonna ride off into the sunset, baby, leave this crowd behind. Na 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 na, na 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 na. Na 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 na, na na. Jenny ran away from her home yesterday, but now her tears have dried from speeding out on the freeway. She's liberating her regrets with each stiff drink and another cigarette. Janie don't know it won't take the pain away.
And Joe the Shirt is once again off the cuff. That was Alive and Well by Trenchtown. Apparently, John Cougar Mellencamp is alive and well in Trenchtown. So yes, I was talking a little bit about common courtesy. One of my more recent big issues with common courtesy came about 2 weeks ago, today actually, on Saturday, when I took my car out on Saturday morning. Because it was raining, and I was thinking to myself, okay, I want to like rinse off my car, and I take my car out, and I get to a stoplight, and I'm about 8 or 10 cars back, and I'm in the left-hand lane, and a car somewhere behind me decided he didn't want to wait for the turning lane before he got into the turning lane, so he like just put his car into oncoming traffic, and because of this, he was like edging himself towards the right to avoid, hitting the other cars, and then instead hit my car and took my driver's side mirror right off, and then got to the intersection, made the left turn, and just jammed out of there, and stuck me with a broken window that I had to replace. There you go. A little common courtesy would have been nice. Really, it wasn't a big deal, to be perfectly honest with you. If they had just stopped, I probably wouldn't have even gone through the insurance. I probably would have just said, look, just give me the cost of the mirror, and, we'll call it even. We don't need to tell anybody about this, But no, they just took the fuck off, And then I get stuck, paying $35 for a new mirror. And then those dickheads over at Pep Boys want to charge me $104 to put it on. And I was like, you know what? I'll do it myself. And I went online and I, watched the video how to, and I'm like, that looks pretty easy. And so when I did get the mirror from Amazon, because I didn't want to pay the extra $16 to Pep Boys, I got the mirror. It's the exact same model that I needed. I was able to remove the old mirror piece that was still left there, remove that, and attach the new one. The whole thing, 10 minutes. If that much. I don't think it was even 10 minutes. And these cocksuckers want to charge me $104. I'm like, how about a little common courtesy then? You know it only takes 10 minutes. Why are you charging me $104? And that's pre-tax. All right, so it's like $50 from them for a mirror that I got on Amazon for $15 less, and then $104 more pre-tax to put it on. So this mirror would have cost me about $160, but no. Joe the Shirt, who's off the cuff, decided to do it himself, and you know what? The mirror's on, the whole thing, less than 10 minutes. I'm very fucking happy. Fuck you, Pep Boys. Now, since I am a few days behind, let's do celebrity birthdays. Starting with March 21st, that being this past Thursday. Let's see, Matthew Broderick is 51. Gary Oldman is 55. Eddie Money, good God, Eddie Money? We're still talking about Eddie Money? Eddie Money is 64. And by the way, looking haggard as fuck. Timothy Dalton is 69. Timothy Dalton is 69. Does that seem right? Maybe I wrote that wrong. 59, I can see that, but 69 seems rather old. Rosie O'Donnell is 51. Russ Myers, as you may remember from the old Russ Meyer movies with the chicks with really very curvaceous titties and booties. And well, great movie if you're a kid. Is his birthday as well. He's dead, though. And Brad Hall from SNL fame is 55. Moving on to March 22nd, that being yesterday, Friday. Let's see who had a birthday. Reese Witherspoon turned 37. William Shatner, Captain Kirk himself, the original, the one and only, is 82 years old. He looks amazing. Sportscaster Bob Costa is 61. Andrew Lloyd Webber, 65. Chico Marx and Carl Malden share that birthday as well. Marcus Camby, basketball player, 39. Pat Robertson, who the good Lord still hasn't seen fit to take away from us, is 83. Lena Olin is 58. Marcel Marceau, it's his birthday as well. And Matthew Modine is 54. Moving on to today, March 23rd. Let's see, NBA phenom Jason Kidd is 39. Shaka Khan is her birthday as well as Joan Crawford's. Moses Malone, also of NBA fame, 57 years old. Akira Kurosawa, famous director of the Seven Samurai. It's his birthday as well. Don't have it. He's dead, so I'm not going to give you his age because I don't believe in giving the age of people. It's like, oh well, if he was still alive, he'd be 412 today. You know what? No, fuck you. Richard Grieco of 21 Jump Street fame is 47. Amanda Plummer is 55, and Kenneth Cole of Kenneth Cole Products is 58. Awesome. We're talking a little bit about common courtesy, not so much here and there. We're gonna be going through it. We're gonna be going through other things, and we will be addressing Jay Leno. Don't worry about that. Okay. Now, for those of you with kids out there, and I know that's plenty of you, and God bless you, because I ain't having any fucking kids. Not that I don't love kids. I love kids. Can't get enough of them as long as they're yours and you take them home with you when we're done. New study from the University of Georgia has some information on kids that start dating in middle school, as early as middle school. So we're talking about 11, 12, 13 years old, maybe 14, depending on what state you live in. But middle school age, when you're the tweenish kind of age, 12, 13 years old. They've found a correlation between certain behaviors and dating at this age. Let's see, what did they find out? They found out the kids that start dating in middle school, consistently having boyfriends and girlfriends all through middle school, high school, whatever. Well, they are 4 times more likely to drop out. Also, twice as likely to drink, twice as likely to smoke weed and cigarettes, and twice as likely to have, or actually 3 times as likely to have the worst study habits of those that have better studying habits. So, in other words, the cool kids are are pretty much fucking up their lives on 4 times as fast as the not cool kids. The cool kids, the not cool kids, the kids who didn't date starting in middle school or even through high school, you know what? Guess what? They tended to have the best study habits and the best grades. Great. Just once again, yes, the nerds are doing well in school and going on to bigger and better things. Where the cool kids, well, they're not doing so great. They actually tend to fail. Still, though, still makes me kind of wish I had been a cool kid when I was in school. That's just me. Alrighty, what else have we got here? A little bit of science I want to drop on you guys today. Scientists, I posted on Facebook about this today. Scientists are looking to bring back certain extinct species. That they can bring back and like, hey, look, we got them again, and we can keep them in zoos or as pets or released into the wild. They're actually thinking about this. Now, among the animals that they're considering the first one that listed here is the auroch. Now, the auroch, it was at one time considered a mythical animal. It turns out it was a real animal. An auroch is the ancestor of today's modern cattle. They died out right around 1627. Now, the auroch stood 71 inches tall at the shoulder. All right, and so then you got to add on a few more inches to that for the head and horns that are about as wide as my kitchen table and could weigh up to 3,000 pounds. That's a lot of Big Macs on that motherfucker. Okay, they're looking to bring that back. Another species they're looking to bring back is the dodo. Yes, they're thinking about bringing back the dodo that we humans wiped out way back in the 1600s from their native island of Mauritius. Mauritius was a very, very isolated island, and because the dodo had no natural predators on the island, they tended to not run away when other smarter animals would run away. Actually, there's no proof that the dodos were stupid. They just were fearless because they'd never seen anything that would want to kill them. Let's see, the dodo, stood about 3.5 feet tall and could weigh up to 51 pounds. Pretty big for a bird, actually. And the reason they tended to die off was because, well, we were eating them. And the funny thing is, they weren't really that tasty. Several accounts that I've read about the flavor of dodo was not good, actually. Nobody really liked it. A dodo, really, in a way, it was like a giant pigeon. I don't know how many of you out there eat pigeon or squab or whatever, but apparently not all that tasty, but really slow and easy to kill. So, they ate it. Another animal that they're thinking of bringing back is the woolly mammoth. That's it. That's right. We want an elephant that goes to the hair club for men. That's what we're going for here. We're talking about an animal that stood about 11 feet tall at the shoulder, could weigh up to 6 tons. And we're thinking of bringing that back because if there's one thing we need around the Arctic circles is a big elephant, a big hairy elephant. That's what we need. Now, a lot of people are under the impression that woolly mammoths were a lot bigger than today's modern elephants. They're really not much bigger at all, if at all. But the perception is, I think maybe it was the hair, give them a little height, little poofiness. The little pompadour, whatever. And another one of the animals that they're thinking about bringing back is the saber-toothed cat. Well, a lot of you may know it as a saber-toothed tiger. In fact, not a tiger. It was a saber-toothed cat. It went extinct about 880 years ago. Yeah, that's exactly what I need. I need a cat the size of a Buick. running around the countryside. That's exactly what we need here. We're talking about an animal that could weigh up to 880 pounds. Now, if you want to know how big that is, the Siberian tiger, one of the biggest examples of that animal that they ever found, was 490 pounds. Okay, so we're talking about a big fucking cat here. Hate to see that litter box. We're talking about an animal that hunted mammoths. We're talking about an animal that hunted another animal that weighed 6 tons. And we're thinking about bringing that back. The scientists came up with certain criteria to determine which animals they would bring back. This is just a small sampling. They've got like dozens of animals that they're thinking about bringing back. But the criteria they came up with is the species desirable? That's the first criteria. Is the species desirable? Again, why would you want a cat the size of a Buick? I'm not exactly sure how that plays into modern life. Number 2, do they have important ecological function? Well, obviously not if they're not around anymore. We've managed to survive without them. Number 3, are they beloved by humans? See, that's the one that they're really going with. Because there's plenty of us out there that are thinking to themselves, you know what, I'd like to see a dodo. I'd like to eat a dodo. I mean, honestly, if you were to tell me, Joe, you want to try a little dodo steak here, a little dodo leg, I'd be like, yeah, fuck it, I'll try some dodo. Yeah, I'd eat some dodo. But and of course, there's those guys who's like, fuck yeah, I want to see a saber-toothed cat. And the hunters would love it. I mean, they were just like, I'm gonna get me some of that. No, 4th criteria, do we have access to quality DNA samples? And apparently when it comes to all these animals, yes, we do. Okay, there's plenty of mammoths out there, plenty of DNA samples, plenty of saber-toothed cats, plenty of, I don't know where they're getting dodo samples exactly from. It's not like they were frozen in the ice like the others. But yeah, that's do we have a good DNA sample? That's one of the reasons they're not doing a whole Jurassic Park thing. They're not trying to bring back the dinosaurs because, unlike the movie, using blood from a mosquito or whatever the fuck, we don't actually have any good viable samples of dinosaurs, which is probably a good idea. 5th criteria, can they be reintroduced into the wild? Why? Why would you do this? Have we learned nothing from disaster movies? It's always a bad idea. Fuck, not just Jurassic Park, but anything. You bring back an animal that went extinct. It went extinct for a reason. But no, let's bring them back. And the last criteria they came up with is, are there habitats available? Well, yeah, I'm sure there are. But again, why would you want to go do this? It baffles the mind. It really does. And on that note, we are going to take our next break. Keep listening in. Next up, we have music by Vital MC and their song Boomerang. I'm Joe the Shirt, and I'm off the cuff.
Without a worry in the world, 8 years old, wild blue eyes and yellow curls. Cuter than the button and always inquisitive. Innocence in the flesh, but innocence ignorant to the whole predicament that began a night summer. Followed by numerous other summers. Once a father's brother touched her every time that he would come to babysit. Summer silent serenades with sexual relationships, and she never said a word. Always kept it secret because she trusted when he told her this would help her grow older. And over years, all of the salt inside the tears would smear and mix within the sweat upon her uncle's shoulders. Is that real? Numb to the world, cause now she can't feel the pressure of this anvil, keeping the red to stand still. 16 pristine, so just imagine that by 18 she was faking multiple orgasms as a living, cause nothing's ever given. And then she learned quick when Uncle was sent to prison, leaving her stuck inside her own distortion of a lifestyle, covered in her anguish behind an inviting nice smile.
Life is like a boomerang, fill your void with her new pain. From emptiness, sorrow flows. We're all together now, locks of a feather now. looking at?
What am I? Look, you're like the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life.
What do you want?
All right.
How much would it be to spend some time?
Welcome back once again to Joe the Shirt's Off the Cuff. And that was Vital MC with their song Boomerang. I wish I could send that back as well. Wow. All right, let's see here. Get the next song queued up here. All right, welcome back. Joe the Shirt's Off the Cuff. Glad you guys are with me today. As you all know, I feel the need to expound and chit-chat with you guys. Once again, plug in my little sister's business, Diaper Cakes by Jessica. If you're planning on having a baby shower for an expectant mother or a recent mother, Diaper Cakes by Jessica. You can check them out on Instagram. And if you go through them, they'll give you 15% discount. It's a great centerpiece for any baby shower. You know, it's a 1, 2, 3 tier cake made from diapers, toys, stuffed animals, baby monitors, wet naps, wipes, whatever bottles, you know, whatever a formula, whatever a new or expectant mother needs. Boom, right there, one elegant package, Diaper Cakes, and you'll be the hit of your next baby or baby shower there. Also, my buddy Justin Zachary, still performing over at the Elephant Theater, doing the play Train Spotting. He is the lead in that. Go check that out. Tickets are $20 at 8 o'clock Friday and Saturday, and $15 on Sundays at 7 o'clock. All right. I always love these stories. I really do, because I often dream that I'll be the beneficiary of something like this. You ever find, if you're like me, you like going to thrift stores and flea markets and garage sales, you know, always looking for a really good deal on something you need or you want, or even better yet, something that you don't need or want, but you just find it, you like it, and then you find out later it's worth so much more. It's like an original this or original that, and it's worth so much money, right? Okay. I love this story. Apparently, these people, they bought a bowl, and they're keeping their names out of the news here, but they bought a bowl at a garage sale that they think they paid like $3 for this white bowl, you know, that they just kept in their living room, you know, as a little, you know, as a table centerpiece, or maybe they put candy in it or nuts or whatever the fuck, you know, and it was just sitting there for years. And one day they decided to go check it out, and it turns out it's an ancient Chinese bowl that dates from the Northern Song Dynasty that recently sold at Sotheby's for $2.2 million fucking dollars. I'm like, oh my God, why can't that ever happen to me? They bought it in 2007 for $3 at like a garage sale, and then they had it checked out and they put it on auction, and they were thinking they might get a couple $100,000 for it. No, $2.2 million. I'm like, wow. If you guys keep up with TV, I know I do. I got a list here of recent Nielsen ratings and seeing how everybody's doing. Once again, the show The Big Bang Theory is number one across the board, with almost 16 million viewers per episode. As a distant second, you have Person of Interest with about almost 14.5 million. American Idol, about a little more than almost 13.5 million. NCIS on CBS, about 13 million. And 2.5 Men, still doing really, really well with a little over 12 million viewers per episode. So they are sitting quite pretty over there. And, it's funny. I'm looking at the top 25 here. I watched, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4... let's see, 5, 6, 7. I watched 7 of the top 25 shows. Let's just let you know that I watch way too much fucking TV for my own good. All right, we're going to be getting into Jay Leno in just a little bit. Before I do, the other day I was talking about my mom and some of the things that she said growing up that kind of stuck with me. One of my absolute favorites was the one where she said, "Sometimes in life, things are not your fault, but they are your problem." That rings true to this day, all through eternity, and you all know what I'm talking about. Another one that she said that I mentioned on that show was, "Some days the person you love the most will hate the way you breathe." That, good God, that is true. And you will hate the way they breathe. You know, you will hate the way your significant other, on just some days, you just want to like punch them in the face. You know you do. I remember this is one of my faves as well. As I've dated a lot of women, and I've enjoyed a lot of women. But one of the things that I've never dated is a Puerto Rican girl. I'm Puerto Rican. I've never gone out with a Puerto Rican girl. They never really took an interest in me, and if they did, it was at a time when I didn't even know anything about girls, so I couldn't, I didn't know what to do with them. And I asked my mother, how come is it Puerto Rican girls never want to go out with me? And she said, the reason Puerto Rican girls don't like you is because you're too nice to them. I was like, wow. Way to set back the women's movement 75 years, Mom. Wow. Awesome. So because I don't beat my girlfriend or verbally abuse her, I'm just too nice. One of my absolute favorites, and this one she also came up with, and I think it's great. She said, never put yourself down. The rest of the world will do it for you. Deep. That's deep right there. I'm letting you know. Some of the others weren't quite as deep. Like one of the things she said was, Joseph, don't play in traffic. Cars don't forgive. What? One of the ones that she taught me that I use to this day is, lie to yourself, lie to others, don't lie to me, I don't care. Now, one of the ones I got from her that I sort of helped develop, she didn't intend it, but was when I was a kid, and she would try to get me to eat liver, and I didn't want to eat liver because it looked gross and it really didn't taste all that great to me back then. She would say to me, there are children in Africa that would love to eat this liver, and I was like, well, give it to them, But the fact that other people have it off worse than I do doesn't make me feel better about my current suffering. So I don't care. I didn't care about the people in Ethiopia. I didn't care about the people for Katrina or when the tsunami hit Japan. I didn't care. All right, I just didn't care. When Haiti was fucking underwater, I got the earthquake. I didn't care. I don't know any of those people. All I know is that I don't have a job. I'm running out of money, and I don't care. And one of the things that she also taught me was she would hold up her hand, palm face open, and she'd say, run into this as fast as you can, face first. I'm tired. Mom. All right, let's talk a little bit about Jay Leno before I get out of here. Jay Leno, as you all know, is a big fat hypocrite. He likes to talk about how lately he's been insulting NBC, biting the hand that feeds him, saying that they're a bunch of snakes, and NBC executives are snakes and they're sneaky and they're dishonest, and I'm like, Jay, look in the mirror. I mean, let's try to remember here, the first late night wars, with him and David Letterman. When they were, making believe they were friendly with each other. They had their shows or whatever. And Johnny Carson was retiring. And they, went at each other. They were both being promised by NBC that, yeah, you're going to get the show. No, you're going to get the show. And, of course, Dave got fucked over. Dave got pissed off. And, he went to CBS. And, the rest of that portion is history. And Dave's been doing just fine without The Tonight Show. Okay, and then some years back, I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago, Jay retired from the Tonight Show, which was really amazing to me that he bothered to do that. He retired from that show so he could go on to an earlier slot at 10 o'clock, and that didn't work out well for him. But they had given the Tonight Show to Conan O'Brien, and Conan was doing just hunky dory in his time slot. He didn't always beat Letterman, but then again, neither did Leno. Excuse me. And then Jay asked for his job back. And NBC gave it to him. Bunch of pricks. Fucking over Conan O'Brien, who is now on cable. And now, Jay's back on the air. And Jay is actually getting consistently better ratings than David Letterman. And yet, despite the fact that he's doing better than Dave, NBC is now looking to get rid of him. They don't want to wait for him to retire. Come 2014, when Jay's contract is up, they fully intend to not renew his contract and just slide Jimmy Fallon in. And I anticipate Jay is going to be a big whiny baby about it. And as I've said before, in reference to Jimmy Fallon, who I think is hysterical, I love him a lot. Don't take the gig, Jimmy. Just don't do it. It's tainted. The Tonight Show is tainted. They're trying to force the host out. Don't you guys remember the good old days when they had the common courtesy of, okay, we have this host who's been on the show for like ever, and we're just going to keep him going until he decides to retire. I mean, could you imagine NBC trying to force Johnny Carson out of his spot? Could you imagine CBS trying to move Merv Griffin out of his spot? It's like they just sort of force him out. Again, no common courtesy there, no politeness. Just, you know what, we're done with you. Get out. But it's called the Merv Griffin Show. Don't worry about it. It's still going to be called the Merv Griffin Show. Just somebody else will be doing your job. Nobody tried to move Oprah out of her show, did they? No. But now they are planning on forcing Jay out, when his contract expires. And I say, for the most part, good riddance. While Jay is a very talented man, he's a talented comedian. If you've ever seen him performing live, he is a funny guy. But I don't think he resonates with people as much as he used to. I mean, the older crowd still dig him, just like the older crowd dug Johnny Carson. But the reason NBC is doing this is they want to attract those younger viewers to that time slot. They want to attract younger money to that time slot so they can get more money for the commercials they sell. It's an ugly business. They anticipate that Fallon's biggest problem is going to be the heartland. It's going to be middle America in the Midwest. That's where he's going to have the toughest time, getting viewers because, along the West Coast, you got Seattle, L.A., San Francisco, Vegas, whatever. Jimmy's going to do fine. You go back to the East Coast, New York, Boston, Miami, Tennessee even. It's like he's going to do just fine there. But it's that middle part of the country that, it's going to be a little tough because so many of the people there do love their Jay Leno. But the advertisers know the people that love Jay Leno are really not the ones spending the dollars. So they want to get the younger crowd in there. Yeah, go figure. I honestly, I think Jay should have stayed retired the first time. His show was tanking. He should have just canceled his show and just stayed retired and gone on with his life. But no, he had to go and steal Conan's gig. Oh, well. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. I'm going to be getting out of here. Our last song is again by Trenchtown. This time it's called Killing Time, which is pretty much what I'm doing right now. Thank you for listening. I'm Joe the Shirt, and I'm off the cuff.